Hey, my pretty sleepy Maggie. After our playtime, you ready to film a video? Let's do it. I thought I'd share my experience and relationship using cannabis in the context of my eating disorder recovery path because it's a really powerful tool, I think, when it comes to eating disorders. I haven't seen too many videos on this. They probably do exist because there's obviously a relation between cannabis, marijuana, and getting the munchies and eating food, but which is a real connection. But I wanted to share my story and experience with cannabis in the context of eating disorder recovery and see if it can be the right medicine to help you if you find yourself in a situation where your eating habits are harming you. Restrictive eating, orthorexia, anorexia, and let me just share with you my experience and story. So when I started to develop an eating disorder in 2012. Wow, it was like 6 years ago now. A big part of that was also just abstaining from anything that was remotely like objectively unhealthy in my lifestyle. So right when I started to get into nutrition and food and develop an eating disorder and take it too far, I also obviously stopped drinking alcohol entirely, and I didn't drink alcohol for 5 straight years. I abstained from cannabis entirely, any form of drugs, which I had experimented with in high school a bit, just for fun, like most kids do. And at around 19, when I went vegan and had some weird eating habits, and I also got completely sober, no drugs, no alcohol, nothing, just like a pure human vessel to experience the world. And that is a beautiful thing to do, and I don't regret any of those experiences, but I took it too far, obviously, and in my repertoire of healing, the many different ways I was able to heal myself in order to get onto the recovery path, which I am now on, it included yoga. It included accountability partners and talking with people face to face, my family, my friends, about my issues and how I want to get better. Meditation, therapy. I did so many different things in order to become the healthy person I am today, where I can nourish my body and eat to health, not to my ego-driven mentality of restriction and being the leanest and being the fittest and healthiest and best person ever. So within all those different modalities that I use to heal myself, which I think you should go to first, like friends and community support groups and therapy and things like that, cannabis might also be an ingredient in your healing repertoire. Cannabis makes me feel, and I'm going to really say this in the context of me, because cannabis is interesting in that it can give different people a variety of reactions. I have friends who get energized from cannabis. I have friends who get tired and lazy from cannabis. Most people do get hungry, some people don't. Some people will abuse it and use it too much, and that will go down a really negative path in life to potentially using other drugs or just being lazy and ruining your relationships. I have seen that happen with cannabis, I gotta keep it real. But for the most part, like any medicine, you can take it too far, but for the most part, people are able to manage cannabis, especially if you look at it as a medicine versus just something to do all day, every day, which I really don't recommend. It's not good for you. Although, Michael Greger, nutritionfacts.org, actually just came out with a recent video that shows data that smoking cannabis, specifically smoking it, because of course you don't need to smoke it. That's the beautiful thing. You can vaporize, you can buy tinctures and oils if you live in the variety of U.S. states that has legalized cannabis, like California, Washington, Oregon, and I know there's many other places that have either medical or recreational cannabis. So you can vape, you can take oils, tinctures, edibles. They have tons of vegan cookies and things like that that you can use to get that cannabis in if you want to experiment with it medicinally in regards to eating disorder recovery. So when I use cannabis, I am present. I think in the present moment. I'm not as focused on the future workout I have to do in 2 hours or the past. It puts me in the present moment, and it tells me to do whatever I need to do in the moment that is good for me. I am not someone that naturally can take naps, can just sit around and rest, can eat indulgently just because it looks good in the moment. I have really crazy, weird, unbalanced levels of willpower, and I like to follow certain nutritional rules, and it's gotten me into trouble in the past because I use that control mechanism in order to control whatever other issues are going on in my life, and it's not healthy. It hasn't gotten me in good positions. But when I'm using cannabis, there is no more eating disorder behavior. It's incredible. I am able to just eat in the moment what makes sense for me to eat at that moment. I'm able to eat a lot of food, not too much where it's like, terrible and bad, but I really am able to feed myself and enjoy that experience. And the default is just to eat a little more, versus if you're struggling with an eating disorder, your default is to eat a little bit less. And that's getting you into the health and mental problem that you're in right now. And cannabis really flips the switch. It just tells you, no, eat that third cookie. Don't just do one. Eat 3 plates of food. You don't, normally you just eat one, but come on, don't you want that second and third? And that's what cannabis does for me. So I want to be super clear in this video. I am not completely advocating for it, especially just for everyone. All I'm saying is if you are 18 or older, if you live in a place where you can get cannabis without it being super dangerous and illegal and sketchy, if you are struggling with an eating disorder, if you've tried other modalities like therapy and accountability partners and reading books and stuff like that, and it still hasn't helped and you need to solve this issue, cannabis is a really good option for you. If all those other things are checked off, you can get it and it's not dangerous and sketchy, you're old enough, and you've tried other things, cannabis is going to help you out. I think it can be a really big and much healthier form of recovery than taking certain synthetic medications or having to drop out of school and go to a inpatient therapy or something. If you have the opportunity to do that, go do it. Do whatever you need to get rid of this horrible disease that I promise you can recover from, as I have and I'm continuing to recover. But if this resonates with you, if you're like, oh my God, I feel like I'm in a prison and I don't know what to do, I can't stop this bad habit, I can't stop restricting, try cannabis. I think it will put you into the present moment and make you feel good about making the choices to eat more food, which without the cannabis, in my experience, is hard to wrap my head around that it's a good thing when I was in my super bad eating disorder mode back however many years ago. Thank you for watching this video. One last thing I'll say is also cannabises are so different. Some cannabis at like a medical or recreational shop is literally specifically designed and bred to give you energy or promote creativity, and then others are kind of more downers and more mellow. The way it works is the indica varieties are much more like, they call it indicouch, you just kind of chill, and then the sativas are varieties that give you more creative stimulation. So my recommendation, especially in terms of cannabis for eating disorder recovery, would be either a hybrid strain, which is a combination of the two, or more on the indica side, which is the mellow out, chill out, be present, and you're going to be able to eat some food and enjoy it and heal your body and hopefully recover from your eating disorder. So let me know what you think about this video. This is good advice, bad advice. If you have any experience with cannabis and recovering from eating disorder stuff like I have used it for from time to time in my past. And I should also just say in this video, I'm not using cannabis frequently in my lifestyle anymore. I'm living in Mexico. I'm traveling all around. Sometimes it does come up in the moment in small towns and I'll enjoy it with some people, but it's not a big part of my life right now. It has in the past. I'm just keeping it real, letting you guys know everything. So much love, Dream Extreme. If you want to support what I'm preaching on this channel and Maggie and I spreading the vegan vibes around the world in small communities that have never heard about these concepts, if you want us to keep the travel all the way cycling to Argentina, you can support us on Patreon. Just $1, $2, $3 per month. Pledging on there completely changes Maggie and I's life so that we can live this lifestyle. Without Patreon, this trip and this lifestyle would not be happening. So I thank you so much. And if you haven't pledged yet, please consider it. The links are in the description below. Thank you.